All right. So hello to everybody. My name is Thomas Sample. I'm the product manager for the Domino server, the admin client, designer client, and as I used to say, all things security related. First of all, thanks to Petter for his presentation. I could not fully understand what he said because I don't speak Czech. But I've seen the technical details. So really a great summary, Petter. Thanks for that. It's unbelievable that it has been 6 months ago than when we had the last on-site event, the last SUTOL on-site event, and the SUTOL team provided me with what is it, 30 minutes, 40 minutes of airtime to talk about what's new in Domino. A lot of what Petter said, I am just briefly scratching because I think there's more features and more functions in the product than what we can cover in the 40 minutes of time. I guess you're all interested in what is about to come, and that's why trying to cover the two bigger topics here, like what's new and a special topic at the end, in the time we have. And because we are going to talk about the future, I always have to include this slide, which says the future can change and will change based on your input. You know that we are listening to our customers. We are encouraging customers to publish ideas and post ideas to our AHA Ideas forum and vote for existing ideas, which then influence the features, functions, the product roadmap, and so on. Speaking of the product roadmap, I guess you know that the Domino product has done quite an evolution since it all started. Petter was sharing a slide saying 35 years of continuous evolution and new features being added to the product. It is 2024, and we've released Domino 14 just recently. The next evolution that we are planning ahead for is version 14.5, with a number of new features that you can already try out and test out now. Main focus is to make sure that all of your existing applications and all of your existing integrations continue to work. And we're adding more features, more current technologies to the product to make it even more interesting to run your business on Domino. So let's take a look into the baseline. I guess if you have had the chance to be on site at the last SUTOL event, you remember that I showed this slide already before. This is a reminder slide to all the customers and administrators out there on what you should run today, features that we think is a given, that's a table stakes, so to say. So you should be running Domino 12.02 FixPack 5 or 14.0 FixPack 2 with the latest interim Fix 1. I think Petter showed the auto update feature that we recently added. That's really a great opportunity to stay current and stay informed on which FixPack is the latest. Also, I need to remind you that we have added a number of add-on products into Domino that most customers can just use as part of their license. Verzi for email, Nomad for accessing applications online, but not to forget, you also have a free of charge entitlement to Domino Leap to run and create up to 5 business applications in your environment. And that all comes with your license. So you should take a look into it. You should test it out. Yeah, like I said, it's for free. I'm not going to read out all the other features. Just ask yourself if you are using these features, if you have enabled these settings. If not, then please put it on your own roadmap. Please put it on your own implementation plan, and especially make sure that you are running an up-to-date operating system underneath the Domino server. I was talking to a customer earlier this year who said, "Oh yeah, we're running Domino on Windows 2000. It just works." Well, Windows 2000 is not really an supported operating system anymore, and I think the operating system has quite a few vulnerabilities. So make sure that all layers of your environment are protected in an appropriate manner. All right, so this is about the roadmap, and you would like to know what we are going to do in the future. Now, we are like in between releases, and we need to make sure that there is something to announce when the product is releasing. So I'm just scratching the surface here by saying our plan is in the near term release the fix packs and interim fixes for the products that are in the market. But also we have released or have started the preview for the next version of Domino, for Domino version 14.5. This is the so-called early access program. We have done this in previous years. We have enabled our customers to access and try out the next version. And early access, was there a chat message coming up? Petra, could you please monitor the chat, because I'm on a single screen and I can't really do both at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in the near term, the plan is, of course, to update the version 12 and version 14 products with latest fix packs and so on. On the horizon are enhancements and improvements in 14.5. First and foremost, we are planning to upgrade Java and Eclipse once again, because the Java platform that we've just upgraded in version 14 also undergoes an evolution, and we need to make sure that we are staying current. We want you to run the very latest long-term support version of the Java engine, so that you can build state-of-the-art applications with the latest and most secure Java and Eclipse stack. There are regulations coming up in the European Union, actually quite soon, and that affects, like governments, public, what's it called, the public sector, that all software, all computer programs in the European Union need to be accessible, so that we can include just anyone in the workforce, no matter if they have like problems with their, what's it called, eyesight, with their visibility, color blindness. And that means all the software needs to be fully accessible and fully certified in order to run in this context. And of course, we would like to continue that. And that's why we're doing some enhancements here to make sure we're staying current on accessibility. Now, I said we started the early access program in September, and that's the so-called early access code drop 1, or EA1 in short. That is the first iteration, and it's by far not including everything that the final product will contain. The next early access code drop is scheduled for December. And we have, well, at least on our calendar, we have lined up a webinar for December 14th. So please mark your calendar, December 14th. You will get an invitation. And
it's December the 11th, Thomas.
It was the 14th.
The 14th is a Saturday.
Oops. Then sorry, then it's a typo. Sorry about that. But this is why I have my colleague Tim Clark here on the call to keep me honest. And Tim and me are going to do that webinar and are going to present what's new in EA2, hopefully with a lot of demos in the same way as Petra just did it a few moments ago. There are 2 more code drops planned, and one in February and one in April. The final release of Domino 14.5 is scheduled for June next year, but we're going to say that in the webinar as well. So how to get access to the early access installation, to the early access code drops? It is just available to anyone who has access to the software download portal. So just log on to my.htclsoftwaretechsoftware.com, go to the download section, and you will see another item here saying early access. And that contains the early access 1 and in December then the early access 2 files. Just make sure to not use this in production because this is beta software. There will be bugs. This is for testing only. What's in that early access 1? Well, like I said, a lot of features, and I'm not going to explain every one of them. Java upgrade is certainly the one that especially the developers should be interested in. I think you want to test your existing applications, your existing Java applications, whether they are just running fine with Java 21 behind the scenes. But there's also more interesting stuff based on your input. For instance, one of my favorite is to use Domino as an OIDC provider, and I have a slide on that soon. Also, the Nodes client side is going to evolve. The Nodes client also runs Java on the inside. It's based on Eclipse, so that's going to be updated to the latest version. But there is also an option for customers to run the Nodes standard client in basic mode for some special scenarios that we're going to explain. So you do not need to install a different type of client. You don't have to access a different installation package. The same installation package for the Nodes client can be used in standard or in basic mode if you want to. And a lot more to come. Like I said, I can't really tell you everything right now because we're just preparing the EAP2 webinar. So join that webinar on December the 11th. One of my personal favorites is Domino as an OIDC provider. This is about authentication, and it's of course based on input that came from our customer base. Especially in an enterprise situation, in an enterprise architecture, Domino is part of a bigger landscape, of a bigger IT environment. And single sign-on is what customers expect. It's what end users expect. Certainly, in the previous days, the SAML protocol was widely used, but the IT industry is moving on to a different authentication protocol, OAuth 2, or in this case, a specific detail of it called OIDC. Now, Domino is already able to log in a Domino user using a remote OIDC provider. But starting with Domino 14.5, you will be able to turn Domino into the IDP, into the identity provider. So other third-party applications can log in just by using Domino as your main directory. Very important, and obviously a lot of customers were asking for it, especially for building better integrated applications. Also, I just want to keep you informed that we are working on improving our anti-spam, anti-spoofing messaging. We have delivered DKIM inbound, DKIM outbound. We have delivered SPF checking in previous releases, and what our Domino messaging team is currently working on is support for DMARC. That is the final requirement that you had, all the customers that voted for that original idea that I'm showing down there. They're expecting just all of these standards to be supported natively in Domino. So that is work in progress. Just wanted to keep this on here to keep you updated on what's about to come. Now let's take a brief look into the Notes client. Petra was already showing quite a few of the changes, quite a few of the improvements made in the Notes client in version 14, but there's more to come in the next version 14.5. Just for the sake of time that I was given, I'm not going to read all the details. So I'm just moving forward to the roadmap, which, as you can see, is similar to the Domino server roadmap, with the plan to also upgrade the client to Java 21 and also to Eclipse, the latest version here, supporting latest versions of Xcode for the macOS platform, and I'm upgrading the integrated browser in the client, and a lot more that we're going to cover in the next webinars. So just to include all the other components, HCL Verse, as you know, the HTML5 mail client is part of the Domino license, but it is delivered as a continuous delivery software. So you are seeing more updates on HCL Verse throughout the year. Version 3.1 has been delivered, 3.2 was delivered, and Tim, I think you need to keep me honest, version 3.22 is the next one that's scheduled, or where?
No, that's released, Thomas. The next one that's scheduled is November. Is coming out tomorrow. 3.2.3.
3.2.
Yeah. And in line with your statement earlier about accessibility being really important for us in the European Union, that release has, I'd say, 99% accessibility corrections in it. And then a few other features, things like how to handle sent mail, as to whether you save it or not, you get to choose. Whether you add an online meeting or not, always, and you can select that as a preference. And then when you're trying to store your mail and you type in a search for me, I type in something like verse, and I've got 4 or 5 different folders for verse. It now, if you hover over it, it shows you the full path to that particular folder that you're going to save it, so you know which folder it's going to end up in. Those are just a few of the other tiny little things we've added to verse for 3.2.3, which comes out tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks for that update. Also on the Verse mobile, on the Verse mobile front, one of the important requests that customers had was introducing multiple accounts in Verse mobile, because often you have to take care of what's it called? You're being delegated, got delegated access to another person's mail file. You'll need to help out in case of vacation or whatever. So that's also available on Android today and coming soon on Verse iOS. The roadmap, as Tim just said, is focusing on accessibility and a lot of smaller improvements that we're going to cover in the next webinars. Of course, security is always a focus, making sure that we're running on the latest and greatest security profiles here. And I really need to hurry up here. HCL Nomad is also a component of the Domino product stack that's delivering regular updates on in the continuous delivery model. So like once per quarter, or in case of Nomad Mobile, even up to once per month, customers are seeing updates of the product, and that includes a number of smaller features, such as recently improving the Nomad server, or simplifying the SAML configuration, or support for scanning barcodes. Petra was in one of his demos showing one of my personal favorite features in Nomad, that is the ability to run the designer client in Nomad, just in your browser. And I think that's especially important for larger organizations, because in order to enhance a Domino application or modify a Domino application or write a little script. You always need the full Domino Designer client installed on your workstation, or at least you did require the full client to be installed previously. Now, with Designer also running in Nomad, you just need your web browser, and as Petra showed, you can build forms, views, formula language, Lotus script, all of that works. We've shown that in a webinar earlier this year, and I added the link to it if you want to see the technical deep dive on that one. Yeah, and last but not least, on the technical update, I also wanted to remind you about the Domino Marketplace that we've launched earlier this year. A number of customers, business partners have already submitted their application into that marketplace. The idea is to give customers, partners, and so on an overview of which solutions do exist out there. So in case you're looking for, I don't know, a CRM software or a specific tool, just give the Domino Marketplace a visit and see if you find anything there that would work in your case. Actually, 96 Domino solutions being listed, that's not quite correct. We are at 100 and, no, actually not 140. We are at 156 at the moment. So please, if you are a developer or if you are a business partner and you have an application that are either making available for free or you're selling as a product, please update or please submit your application to the marketplace as a listing so that it will get the visibility it deserves. There are about 10 million Domino applications out there, and I know that many of them were developed for a corporate context, but a lot of them would see greater adoption if customers would just know about them. So that was the reminder to use the Domino Marketplace and take a look at the Domino Marketplace if you're looking for an application. Now there's one final question that I think I have like 10 minutes, Petra, correct me if I'm wrong, to cover. That's a question I asked at the on-site event, a question that we all have heard about, a question that many of us in the IT world hear about when talking to customers, and that's about, what about AI? AI, in this case, of course, I mean artificial intelligence. I was showing a video at the SUTOL on-site conference in May this year, showing how we can integrate HCL Verse with, for instance, ChatGPT. Now, sure, you can do that today, but we can do better. In summer this year, we've shown a demo, we've shown a prototype that's called Domino IQ. Domino IQ is a feature of Domino, or planned to be a feature of Domino. And the main difference is that we're not using any external AI. The idea of Domino IQ is that all your data remains your data. We are keeping privacy and security intact. We are keeping you honest, and we are not sending your data to a third party. We are not sending your data to ChatGPT. Let me just show you a small little demo, and I hope the video that I have here will come across. I just need to say this is a demo in the email context, but please open your mind and please understand that the same AI functionality can also be used in Domino applications. I'll explain what it is. So this is my workstation, actually. I was recording this here on my machine earlier this year with the help of Tim. And I had to record this because the video starts with disabling Wi-Fi. And that hopefully explains why it needs to be a video. And it also shows that AI functionality can just run locally. For instance, on an email that Tim sent me with a question that I could answer myself, but I'm lazy. I would like to use a new function, a new button called Reply with AI. Clicking that means my computer will have to do some work and it will come up with a reasonably good answer that I can just send or dismiss. Or another example is here an email from our colleague in Korea, and it's in the Korean language, which I don't understand. So I'm using the AI translate button, and it translates Korean language into proper German language. Quite helpful, actually, for people like me who don't understand that particular foreign language. A small little fun fact: just about 2 weeks, just about 2 weeks ago, we did an event in Norway and Sweden, like in Oslo and Stockholm. And one of the customers in Stockholm in the audience stood up and said, "Hey, wait a second, I'm from Finland, and Finnish is one of the most complicated languages on the globe. Does it actually work with Finnish?" And I said, "I have no idea. We can try. Send me an email and I will click that button." So we did that. So he sent me the email and I clicked that button in the following coffee break, and it provided a reasonably good translation. And also I clicked the reply with AI button, and it provided a reasonably good answer. He actually had 5 questions in his email, and 4 of these 5 questions, the Domino IQ engine was able to respond to correctly. Only one question Domino did wrong, and that was a question about what's the weight of a specific fish. Okay, so yeah, there is some training required. All right. And because these were mail-related demos, just a small little teaser, you can also use the same in an application context, such as this one here, a typical Domino application with lots of data. And what we've done is creating another tool where you can say, I'm going to select a Domino application, select a view that I want to create a report on, submitting that to the Domino server, and the server will compose a summary report of what you can see. Imagine you can send this to your management, you can create a dashboard, you can post this to a website or whatever. Just an example of how you could use AI in the Domino context quite quickly. What you have seen is just standard Domino development by using a new integration. A new integration with Domino IQ, which we are positioning as the trusted local LLM engine, meaning large language model engine built into Domino. I don't expect you to be an AI specialist, but one of the main problems with AI with our Domino customers is they do not want to send their internal data to ChatGPT or to Google Gemini or others because it is sensitive information. You want to leverage the AI functionality. You want to gain productivity by using AI, but without exposing your data. And that's why Domino IQ is expected to be a task on your Domino server, expected to run locally with a configurable knowledge set, such as Llama 3.1, Mistral, Gamma 2, and the like. If we have like 5 minutes of time, I can provide you with a little bit of an overview of what that looks like from an architecture point of view, because I think many of you are technical specialists and want to know what the hell is Thomas talking about.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So I'm going to skip a few slides here. We asked customers earlier in summer if they are interested in this functionality, And just in the few months we got 130 customers who voted for it and who said, yes, we want to have that. If you think this is interesting, then please go to that website, go to that QR code or scan the QR code and go there and vote for this idea. This will help us to understand how many folks out there are interested in this feature. And please also leave a comment on that idea describing what you would do with it. Several customers did that already. There were use cases described, such as translation on the fly, or not only responding to an email, but also writing a new email from scratch, or improving spell check and grammar. I mean, not everybody is a native English speaker. Not everybody is aware of specific Korean grammar. So maybe an AI can help to create better business communication. Of course, task management was a topic. Or for same-time meeting summary was being requested. Also, administrators were asking for AI support when analyzing Domino server log files or doing a security audit, as well as developers saying, hey, it would be really cool if Domino IQ can improve my source code or even write new source code from scratch. How cool would it be if a developer can just say, I need an application which does this, and then Domino Designer would build that all of a sudden just by providing the input in form of text. Yeah, you would be a lot faster in providing business solutions. Well, we filtered that and basically productivity, build is on the right-hand side, like create new applications, build formula, Lotus script, and so on. But the most interesting one, I think, is in the middle. That's the ability to analyze unstructured data. Just think of all the Office documents, PDF documents, or rich text information in a rich text field that may contain useful information. And for leveraging this information, Domino IQ needs to provide something that's called a RAG, a Retrieval Augmented Generation AI. About let me explain how this is purely expected to work out. This architecture is in draft mode, may change, but I'd like to open and honestly provide you with the information on where we are. So on the right-hand side, you see a Domino server in the gray box, and it contains several Domino databases, applications, whatsoever. The NSF file contains notes documents, and in the notes document as an attachment, there are PDF documents and whatnot. We have provided C APIs, Lotus script, Java, and so on for you to build a custom application. And the demo that you have seen was done with the notes client accessing the Domino server using the nRPC protocol. But we don't want to limit the Domino IQ functionality to nRPC. That's why we also need to open it up for HCL Verse and also any sort of browser or mobile platform, iOS, Android, and whatnot. So we also need to provide an interface for HTTP, meaning a REST API. And then, of course, we need Domino IQ, the Domino IQ server task, which is responsible to accept the inbound request, the request coming from the client, and internally communicate with what's called an AI inference engine. And that inference engine can be configured in your environment to run the language model. Oops, seems my headset is running out of power. Peter, can you just say something?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. Yes, you can talk.
Okay. I just lost power to my headset. As long as you can hear me, everything's fine. So long story short, the language model in here is configurable. You can configure this in a new Domino application called dominoiq.nsf, where the administrator can define the limits, the restrictions for the AI engine. So that by itself would be good enough to do the demos I just did, but it would be even more interesting if we could leverage the knowledge from the notes document and PDF documents up to the top right in green. Now, in order for doing this efficiently, we'll need this RAG, this Retrieval Augmented Generation AI engine. When I was talking to Domino people, I'm saying this is like a full text index engine, but more AI optimized. And the result of that AI optimization engine is a so-called matrix, a matrix of numbers. And in order to kind of keep the security of Domino in place, we cannot just put everything into one large bucket, because then an end user would be able to query or ask a question like, hey, give me the emails of the manager. We need to make sure that the Domino access controls are kept in place. And that's why the RAG vector is intended to be stored in the NSF database, so that the access control of the NSF will remain in place. And everything from a security perspective is going to stay the same. Well, small little teaser. In order to do that, we will need to upgrade the on-disk structure of the Dominos of the NSF database. So in 14.5, you may very likely see a new ODS version, but that's nothing new, and that's to optimize the storage of vector information in an NSF. You could say we are planning to make Domino a vector database for AI, but first and foremost to support our internal AI engine that we call Domino IQ. I see that I'm actually stretching the time window I was given quite a bit, but long story short, just to wrap up here, of course, running AI on a Domino server will have an impact on hardware requirements. And we looked at where we are currently with hardware requirements compared to other products in the market space. Domino, for instance, I mean, the minimum requirement is 1 CPU and 4 gigabytes of memory. More typically, you might run 4 CPUs and 16 gigs of memory on a Domino server. But other products that are not to be named require a lot more just to do mail. And if you include all of the other surrounding products, you end up with quite a large environment. So in case running AI in Domino will require more hardware or will change the hardware requirements, which it will for sure, then I think we are quite good compared to our competition. The only difference is that this is not about CPU and memory only. You will need specialized hardware. This is what typically companies like NVIDIA do. They produce special AI-enabled graphics cards, so-called GPUs. And if you want to run Domino IQ at scale, please plan forward, because you may need a GPU in your server to run this efficiently. All right, Petter, I really don't want to take much more time. There are a few more slides on what our challenges are and what we do and what we don't.
Go on, please.
Okay, okay. Then let me just openly talk to the audience and openly say what we will not do. HCL, and in HCL Domino, we do not plan to build our own language model. The Domino IQ engine can be equipped with any existing large language model, there is a website out there called huggingface.co where all the AI folks are meeting, and they publish existing large language models over there. Most of them are free of charge. Some of them are commercial whatsoever. There are already 1 million large language models out there. There is no need for HCL to produce another one, especially because Domino is used in so many different industries that I'm sure you want to use the language model that's going to fit your industry in the best possible way. Also, if you want to build your own large language model, you can do that, but the training is not expected to run on a Domino hardware. Training an AI model is really expensive, very expensive. You need lots of hardware. And if you want to do that, you can, of course, do that, but please do it outside of Domino and only take the result back into Domino, configure that language model in Domino. I also need to clearly say that we are very, very careful, very sensitive when it comes to customer data. We guarantee that Domino IQ will not phone home. We will not send your data to any third party. This is not going to happen. Also, just for AI is such a big field. We'll need to talk about what can we do in what amount of time. And the more you think about AI, the more use cases you discover. For the first stage, we have to say we focus on text. So any image or video processing is not going to be included. We may get there, maybe later on. At the end of the day, our customers are going to tell us if you need image or video processing, but the first stage is text only. And also, we are not going to provide Domino IQ on the IBM I platform. The reason being IBM I is really special and this hardware is good for that, but you don't get the special chips, the special NVIDIA GPU for IBM I. This might change in the next couple of years. IBM is working on some interesting hardware, but our starting point, our main focus will be Windows and Linux. So just keep that in mind. With that, I don't know, Peter, if we have time for any Q&A or if there were any questions submitted in the chat. But
yes, they liked what they saw. You already answered some questions, and the last one unanswered is about licensing, whether we know if it will be part of CCB license or licensed separately, but I think it is still open, right?
No, actually, we're quite clear on that, that the plan is this is part of the CCB license. This is going to be part of your Domino license. It's a feature of Domino, not another product.